This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? What the hell's going on? Thank you, Dobby Smith. Music City Mom, been here for 5 months. Just like I always say, everybody, every single night, the freaks. Let me turn it down. The freaks help support the channel here, and it allows me to keep doing the show every single day. And I donate over 50% of the net revenue to various true crime related charities. And we also have a DNA fund that might be appropriate for the first case that we're talking about here. We'll see, take a look at it. Somebody sent it to me, a friend of mine. And it was, I was like, oh wow, I never heard of this one. It could be related to the Portland 4, though. The other 4 women. Don't really know at this point. But, yeah, everybody helps support the channel. They send in, like when we do these live shows, there's no, very rarely ad revenue. I mean, yesterday's video seemed to sneak through for some reason. Not sure how the hell it did it, but hey, thanks. Yabba dabba doo! And if you're curious, over here on the left side of the screen, I remember right at the beginning of the pandemic, that first year, from the income from the channel, we donated $22,000 from my income here. But the only income I have is from you guys, so you guys are responsible for it. And then $42,500 in 2021. And then last year was really crazy with about 3 back-to-back cases. I think it was like Kylie Rodney, Debbie Collier, and then the Idaho 4 case. So I was able to donate $62,250 that year because of the freaks. And then this year we are at $36,850 after July. So we're kind of pretty close to last year, really, but and so far this year, $36,850. Texas EquiSearch has $4,350. Black and Missing $2,500. Indigenous Vision $500. Project Recovery $1,000. Wounded Warrior $1,500. Our DNA project $13,500. NICMEC $4,750. Rain $4,750. Innocence Project $2,000. So, I mean, we actually make a huge difference here to various true crime, or we call them true crime related charities, but we make a big difference. So that's what goes on here, man. That's why every single night when you support the channel, you know at the end of the year that or month even, we'll be donating tons and tons of money. Yeah. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, gifted a membership. All right. Too many. Yeah. Yeah. They're here every single night, Jason. So don't worry about that. Yeah. Great jog. Oh, job. Well, thank you. was going to say, man, I didn't go jogging today. My knees can't handle it. I do the bike and walk on a treadmill. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Robin Berardo. Maybe it was... Nah, it's just the people out there. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. So anyways, let's get... Oh, by the way, I was watching Bama Forever earlier. It was kind of funny. She's a live streamer. I won't tell you where, but she's a live streamer. Hell yeah. That's pretty funny, though. She's like, this is the most boring thing in the world. Or not really. She didn't say it that wording, and I said... And I watched, and I was like, I can see that. I can see that. Don't worry about it, Danielle. As I just said. Okay? Jesus. Let's see. Who is she? She's Bama Forever right there. See, Jen H, thank you. It's hot down here in Florida. Yeah, just listen to what I'm saying, Danielle. You won't have to put yourself in that position. Hey, Eugenie, thank you so much. Somebody named Nope, and Sue Ellen, and let's see, Dem, and Four Chihuahuas, and Katie Green, and don't forget to check those accounts right there to see if any of them... I did, I gotta hear your voice. Well, thank you, Bama Forever. Yeah. So look at all those members right there, you guys. So make sure mods to check them out and remove any of the ones that are newly created. That's unfortunate for yourself, but if you happen to be just somebody that just started signing up for YouTube, it's just that's the way we get rid of the trolls really quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to hear my voice. Lol.
You know what? You know what you would wonder is, with all this AI technology, wouldn't Streamlabs have figured out that LOL isn't LOL? Like after a while, they would just realize that it should be LOL, not LOL. Boy, I was walking down the street and I fell, lol. Oh, it was a lol in a day? Okay, right. Yeah, it's really strange, don't you think? Pretty weird stuff. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see. Yeah, laugh out loud or LOL, whatever they want to say. Yeah, laugh out loud's better because then it describes what you meant by LOL. And for those of you just getting here, I've often said this one. Like if you haven't been on my channel for a while, you know how people overuse, and by the way, my music's not playing. I got to get that moving. Somebody, I agree though. When the music's not playing, it just feels funny or something. If somebody is out there and they say to you, you know how people use like LMAO and all that crap like that? All the time, like in every sentence. Laughing out loud, like LOLRMALOF, whatever the hell it is, like rolling on the floor laughing, all that shit. And they type it in at the end of every sentence. And I'm actually picturing, based on what was just said, this person is rolling around on the ground laughing out loud. And I think to myself, these people are nuts, okay? This person's crazy. Yeah, there you go. So TTJO just typed it in. So here it is, everybody. So somebody types in, boy, yesterday I was working in my backyard fixing our deck. I took out a hammer and smashed my thumb. ROTFLMAO. And I'm thinking to myself, if you smashed your thumb with a hammer, where it was like, you know, and you rolled on the floor laughing, I'm not calling the ambulance, everybody. You know, I'm actually calling the psych ward to come over with a straitjacket and put it on you. You get what I'm saying? Just think how ridiculous it is. Yeah. Thank you, Cindy Leon. If I spell it out with minimum 5 characters of haha or more, then I actually laugh. Well, we have something that's called L101 here. Okay, so that means you literally laughed out loud, and you wonder, well, how can you say 101 and not LOL? That's because Ada, one of the mods in here, we were covering a Chris Watts, the letters that people wrote to Chris Watts. That's the only thing that I found interesting in that case. These wacko people were writing him letters, and one of the girls typed in, we were reading them on the air, and it was, so the person said, boy, I can't really cook, LOL, but Ada read it 101, right? She typed in 101. And so then 101 became LOL, but I already had literally laughing out loud was LLOL, and then we switched it to 101 because that represents LOL. Boy, isn't that just really cool inside baseball right there? So that's where it came from, the L101 right there. Yeah, so and by the way, guess what I'm drinking out of right here, everybody? The L101 mug. Yes, that was a spot advertisement for that. I would see how I worked it in. Really amazing. Actually, that was just pure coincidence. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's get to the story here. Yeah, well, not great. The way I just worked that in there. By the way, I just happen to have the mug for the thing that I just talked about. Yeah. So Reddit, somebody on Reddit actually wrote a long thing on it. I might do that at the end. Not really, like I said.
Suspicious death that attorneys say has lacked sufficient investigation.
So hold on. So this is KGW 8 in Portland here. And so this is a body was found last October. So it's kind of around the time as, I think, Smith, is that her name? In one of the 4 Portland ones. I don't know where Chloe is. All right, here we go.
Investigation. Family members of a woman who died in Washington's Klickitat County are still searching for answers 9 months after her death. Thomas Schultz joins us now. And Thomas, 31-year-old Hannah Walker was found floating in a creek near Trout Lake.
Yeah, Brittany, she was, but the case into her death is now inactive. Family attorneys have characterized the investigation as, quote, bizarre. Unidentified DNA was found underneath her fingernails. They say detectives initially investigated Walker's death as a homicide before the case went inactive.
We don't really know what happened yet.
Aya Walker is left wondering what happened to her daughter more than 9 months after she died. Family attorneys said in a letter to the FBI, Walker was found naked in a Klickitat County creek with abrasions and a large welt. Unidentified DNA was found in several places on her body.
Sheriff Songer at that time agreed that what we were showing him was...
I mean, by the way, how do they have all this DNA?
The Portland woman was found by a patrol
and they're not doing
officer
anything
after a man who was with Hannah reported her missing. A detective was initially assigned to the case, but Walker says the law enforcement officer was soon reassigned to patrol. Soon after that, Walker says her daughter's case was moved to inactive.
It's been a process of seeing how ineffective our system is.
Attorneys say very little evidence was collected at the scene of Walker's death. No interviews have been conducted with family, friends, or associates of Hannah.
Are they going to investigate? I mean, DNA,
I sent her a message
is pretty
on Facebook.
significant.
Klickitat County Sheriff Bob Songer did not respond to interview requests. In a letter to the FBI, attorneys say the investigation has lacked urgency.
Yeah, so this is, her body was found in a creek, and I guess underneath her fingernails was somebody else's DNA.
And transparency. Attorneys say Walker's family was told it could take 6 to 8 months to receive an autopsy report because of a backlog. Yeah. Walker still hasn't seen that.
I like to do cases that I'm, interested in, or, somebody, I don't know, it's weird. See, a lot of people send me cases and they're just like, great, you gotta do, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, you guys know how it is in real life too, right? You don't just cover every single case somebody sends because you're not always that, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I cover more than any other YouTuber, I can tell you that. But sometimes when people just send you random cases, you can take a look at it and there might not be anything to discuss other than the plain facts, but there's no information to tell a story and sort of look into and think about.
Autopsy.
It's really important to note that they had all the information showing probable foul play.
It's important to note Walker hasn't just tried to work with the Klickitat County Sheriff's Office. She's also reached out to the County Coroner's Office, Clark County Medical Examiner's Office, and numerous other agencies.
Thanks, Jamie. So, hey, guess what? Tonight is one of our normal old nights, everybody. So, we need to have help to reach the goal tonight from the regular old freaks that have been here the whole time. Because if you notice, if you're not covering Koberger or just sort of these random, not random, but like Koberger or Hurman or Delphi or something like that, people just, So right now we have one of our normal nights where we have the actual daytime freaks. Everybody's here. And by the way, I got to get back to, so now that Law and Crime said I could play some of their old trials and current trials the day later, could somebody send me, tell me what, I wouldn't mind starting one up tomorrow, for example. So send me one that could be going on now, or a recent one that you think is, worth doing. I think there's a lot of them. Hey, thanks, Eugenie. Not Corvallis, but Eugenie.
To no avail. Brittany.
All right, Thomas,
Thanks,
thank
Mona
you.
L. All right, so what we have here is, and so what I did was I reached out to
Michael Burns had never heard of.
And I reached out to the mother, and I said, hey, because this is like a small county in Washington, and I was saying, hey, maybe we would cover the cost of testing that DNA, because we've done that before too in cases. We tested the DNA on a cigarette butt in a case in Klamath Falls, and it turned out to be somebody. There was a criminal that died, but couldn't have committed the murder, but was at the house of the, it was really strange, I guess.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
Yeah. Thanks, Webb Weaver 68. Interesting case, never heard of this one. Yeah, so 31-year-old Hannah Walker was found floating in a creek near Trout Lake by a patrol officer after a man who was with Walker reported her missing. So she was with somebody, and then he reports her missing, and then she's naked in a creek with abrasions and some sort of a bruise or something. Thanks, Cindy Leon. Initially, family members said a Klickitat County detective was investigating the case as a homicide before the case became inactive. So just sort of, okay, yeah, it's just inactive. Why don't you test the DNA out? Attorneys for the family have characterized the investigation into Walker's death as bizarre. In a letter to the FBI, they wrote that the Klickitat County Sheriff's Office investigation has not been urgent or transparent.
Jumping on Eugenie's wave. Ocean wave.
There you go.
Ocean wave.
Ocean wave. We don't really know what happened yet, Hannah Walker's mother, Aya Walker, said. In a letter to the FBI asking for federal investigation, Walker's mother, Aya Walker, so that's sort of interesting because she's from Portland, this girl, but she was found in Washington. You know what I should do is, let me go find those. Shit. Hold on one second. Portland serial killer.
At this time, no charges have been filed in connection with the deaths of 4 women.
That's here in Portland. So Charity Perry is one of them. There. So I'm going to turn those on. Let's see how close that is. Yeah. So all these blue pins are associated with the Portland serial killer possibility. There was a guy arrested that knew 4 of them. And then over here is Trout Lake. So, you know, maybe we'll see where we can find where to put some pins over here. Let's see, at the time, Aya Walker said it appeared like her daughter's death would be investigated thoroughly. Sheriff Songer at the time agreed that what we were showing him was definitely suspicious. And when they say show what we were showing him, I wonder what that is. She said detective was assigned to the case and told the family he planned to investigate Walker's death as a homicide, but he was eventually assigned to patrol. It's been a process of seeing how ineffective our system is, Aya Walker said. Attorneys said in a press release there was very little evidence collected from the creek where Walker was found. Now there's Kami rounding it off again. They claim the sheriff's office did not conduct interviews with family, friends, or associates of Hannah. Are they going to investigate? I mean, DNA, you know, it's pretty significant, Aya Walker said. Klickitat County Sheriff Bob Songer did not respond to KDW's interview request. Attorneys for Walker's family said law enforcement told the family it could take 6 to 8 months to receive an autopsy. What a joke. This kind of stuff, really? I mean, give me a break. 8 months to do an autopsy?
Joe, it's safe to say it has been a busy season already. I understand you have...
There aren't that many deaths in Portland or Vancouver to make that something that takes 8 months. That's ridiculous. That's just somebody trying to go, wow, you know, it might take forever to get this. Thanks, Kami and Charisma. Okay, this article here is from August 4th. Thank you, Cheryl. Floating on the way. Klickitat County Sheriff rebukes claims he neglected investigation into Portland woman's death. News that a 31-year-old woman was found dead in a shallow water last October recently jolted Klickitat County residents. You know what's weird is I looked that up and there was this other event in, let me look that up, newspapers.com. Body found Klickitat County, and then October
Ocean wave,
2022. Yeah, so this was funny, weird because this is October 13th. What day was this one? This was a whole totally man charging killing and dismemberment. I mean, but this isn't the same case. Makes you wonder, though. Let me just see this. Ernestine Morning Owl takes comfort in knowing that her younger sister was finally returned home when she was buried last month at Black Wolf Cemetery. She's a beautiful light. She was good. And this is also in Klickitat County, which is a Native American name there. So that's October 13th, 2022. And then this says, news that a 31-year-old woman was dead in a shallow water last October recently jolted Klickitat County residents. Local law enforcement never publicly reported the death. Thank you. I wish I was a little bit taller. We'll see how it goes, all right? All right. News that a 31-year-old woman was found dead in a shallow water last October recently jolted Klickitat County residents.
Chewbacca?
Yeah, so let me go to that spot. I wonder if we can find the location here. It's going to be probably pretty tough, I think. News that a 31-year-old woman was found dead in shallow water last October recently jolted Klickitat County residents. Local law enforcement never publicly reported the death. Isn't that weird? Why not? County Sheriff Bob Songer on Tuesday responded to accusations that his agency poorly handled the case by quickly insisting the death was accidental. He said it may have been his fault the death wasn't more widely known. It might be my bad that there wasn't a press release at the time, but it wasn't intentional, Songer said after a county meeting. Deputies found Hannah Walker of Portland on October 12th. Yeah, that's so crazy. October 12th, and then other stories October 13th, but yeah, they're not really related, I guess. Let's just take a look at this thing again here. What is this thing? Nelson, the mother of 3 grown children, was reported missing in September by her daughter and co-worker in May. Her dismembered remains were discovered a month later in the Kincaid Ravine near Burke Gilman Trail. Oh, where the hell is that? Let's see. Burke. Becker's. Oh, what happened to it? I just lost it. Oh, there it is. Kincaid Ravine. Let me just put that in. Yeah, there it is, right there. That's way up here. In Seattle. Seattle police arrested Charles Becker, 32, on October 4th in connection, so he couldn't have done this. It says phone record. This is kind of an interesting. Do you mind if I read this one really quick to you guys? Becker was previously convicted of second-degree manslaughter for the 2015 accidental killing of his infant son, Pullman, Whitman County court records show. The baby died after his airway was obstructed by a piece of plastic bag, and Becker was sentenced to just over 2 years in prison. According to court records. Now that's kind of weird. That must have been not accidental. The Seattle police investigation into Nelson's killing is ongoing, and charging papers indicate one or more other people were involved in her violent death and the desecration and disposal of her body. The King County Medical Examiner's Office determined Nelson died from multiple sharp force wounds. Police learned during their investigation that Nelson took a Lyft ride share from Auburn on May 19th and arrived at her Seattle apartment a little after 10 p.m. After her remains were found June 20th, police searched her unit and collected empty beer cans, some of which had Becker's fingerprints on them, charging papers say. Phone records show Nelson and Becker exchanged 12 text messages after Nelson got back to Seattle, and scientists at the State Patrol Crime Lab later found Becker's DNA on medical gloves recovered with Nelson's remains, according to the charges. Additional unknown male DNA was also located. Police obtained a low-resolution video in July that showed 2 people who appeared to throw something off the elevated roadway in the 2200 block of 45th Avenue Northeast within 24 hours of passerby discovering Nelson's remains in the ravine. Becker was arrested 4 months later, and police took samples of garbage bags and gloves they found at his workplace, which are being scientifically compared to those used to dispose of Nelson's remains. Man, just so much weird crap goes on out there, you guys. Just absolute nuts. Alright, let me get back to Reading Fund. Thanks. Thanks, KB. News that a 31-year-old woman was found dead in shallow water last October recently jolted Klickitat County residents. County Sheriff Bob Songer on Tuesday responded to accusations that his agency poorly handled the case by quickly insisting the death was accidental. He said it may have been his fault the death wasn't more widely known. It might be my bad. My bad, guys. My bad. You know, that's when you make a bad pass in basketball. Or you throw, you drop a pass or, something. Oh, my bad. Not when you forget to notify the public that you found somebody dead. A little bit different, don't you think? Deputies found Hannah Walker of Portland on October 12th floating in a creek near Trout Lake. So Trout Lake is a town, so it's not an actual lake. I mean, there probably is a lake there too, but so this is Trout Lake here. Or all kinds of things. Let's list off all the things where people say, my bad. Yeah. Let's see. It might be my bad, but there wasn't a press release. Okay, then deputies found Hannah Walker of Portland on October 12th, floating in a creek near Trout Lake. Her family described her as a capable swimmer. It's also very shallow, and said she had unidentified DNA under her fingernails at the time of her death. According to a detective assigned to the case, a medical examiner reportedly said Walker's injuries were consistent with someone stumbling around in the water, the detective wrote. The detective wrote that was not consistent with someone who was fighting. The detective wrote that was not consistent with someone who was fighting with someone or trying to defend off an attacker. This sounds like that same idiocy that was in the DJ Ficky case. I mean, these guys, man. According to a detective assigned to the case, medical examiner reportedly said Walker. Okay, yeah. The detective also said the medical examiner believed Walker had been drinking and mixing benzodiazepines at the time of her death. The detective wrote, the medical examiner advised benzodiazepine and alcohol are a dangerous combination and should never be taken at the same time. Walker had reportedly been staying with a married couple in the area. The husband called 911 to report her missing after they had been at the creek together. The husband called 911 to report her missing. Well, but what were the circumstances behind that? You just, hey, you're walking around, and then all of a sudden you call 911. Like you're walking around with somebody, and then you go, oh, wait. I mean, didn't you notice that they walked away? Or, I mean, where's that part of the story? The husband called 911 to report her missing after they had been at the creek together. Family members first heard from detectives that they considered the case a homicide. However, family members said detectives later recanted. They called it an accident and placed it on an inactive status. There's just, there's just been so many questions that have gone unanswered, said Aya Walker, Hannah Walker's mother. She also said the sheriff's office has dismissed her concerns in conversations. Besides the unidentified DNA, the family had also questioned why there were boot prints near the scene that were never identified. So that's weird. I mean, how does she know all that? None of this makes any sense to me, Aya Walker added. The sheriff's office did nothing. The family has since published a website calling for more information, and their attorneys recently issued a press release to the media outlets in Portland alleging the agency's neglected Walker's death. Television news station KGW published an interview with Walker's mother on July 20th. That's the one we just watched. The news has since spread to neighbors who have taken to social media to raise more questions about the case. Songer sat in the meeting of Klickitat County Commissioner on Tuesday expecting that there would be several public comments asking about the case. However, only Walker's mother spoke publicly. Aya Walker said the meeting she wanted more information and to meet with Sheriff and Klickitat County Prosecutor David Quesnell. Quesnell declined to comment for this article. When asked about why the case was initially treated as a homicide, Songer said that it's his philosophy to treat suspicious death as homicide until evidence suggests otherwise. He said he believed the medical examiner's findings showed Hannah Walker drowned accidentally. I'm 100% confident at this point it's a drowning. Yeah, it's a drowning, but how do you know how she drowned? I mean, she's got these abrasions and whatnot on her. Could somebody have held her into the water, let's say? The sheriff declined to comment about the boot prints or DNA. He said he's expecting the family to file a lawsuit. A previous version of the article incorrectly attributed some assertions about Walker's injuries. The story had been updated to reflect that those are the assertions of a detective reporting an interview with the medical examiner. And this is what was in that video. Let's see. Hannah's family has made multiple public record acts requests and have collected all the investigative records supposedly in existence from Klickitat County, where she died, and Multnomah County, where she lived. So she lives in the same county that I live in, actually. I mean, which is basically all of Portland. The records demonstrate that virtually no investigation has been performed. In fact, the state of the investigation at the Klickitat County Sheriff's Office can only be characterized as bizarre. No DNA has been collected from any suspects to make a comparison to the DNA detected on Hannah's body. Now, I want to know, underneath her fingernails, does it look like she scratched somebody? Or was it just kind of like some cells that you found under there? Thanks, Cali Gal 3. By the way, where she's moving to, that's such a cool place. Yeah. So, good job. I mean, come on, the rest of you guys, let's get up to that goal tonight. It's not that hard, man. Pretend that I'm at Starbucks and I made you a cup of coffee. Okay, just same thing.
So, pensive face.
Thank you, Cali Gal 3. Yeah, she's nude. She was nude, so. Let's see. Here's another picture of her right there. Hello, Mary. So this website is called HannahRoseWalker.com. Stay informed. So let's see what this. They have like a case breakdown here. We can take a look at it. So let's see what it says. Hannah was out of town with Jeremy G., age 67, in Trout Lake, Washington. Hey, thank you so much, Carolina T. And where have you been, Carolina T? I haven't seen you in a long time. Carolina T is the one that made, if you go over here, these, the watercolor of Blue there and the one down here, too. Both of these, Blue and Chloe, and then Blue right there. Pretty sweet, huh?
Thanks, great.
Look how good that is of Blue. That looks exactly like him. She's only 28 years old. This is a friend that she was living with, though. It was like a married couple. It wasn't a boyfriend or something. So let me just get through the thing. Thank you, Pamela Dasgupta. Yeah, it's not as bad. He's coughing probably about a fifth of what he was doing before. Hey, by the way, okay, I'm paying attention right now. How do I say your last name? Is it? Type it in phonetically, okay? Go ahead. I got to get it right. Go ahead. Type it in phonetically correct. Is it Das? I say it correct? Oh, come on. Go ahead. Type it in. You always just say you want to hear me pronounce it. That means I'm not doing it right. Okay. Okay, so Dasgupta is correct. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Well, there you go. No, I know what you're saying. I mean, I think he's 67 and she's 20 something. But earlier, what I read was that what is it? Yeah, she was staying with a married couple, so that means the 67-year-old guy was with her, and then all of a sudden she just disappeared. What do you mean? Well, people wondered about. What does that mean? Anyways, Hannah was out of town with Jeremy G., age 67, in Trout Lake, Washington. Huh, so that means she actually lived in Multnomah County and just sort of went on this trip with this person. Hannah was still shaken from a domestic violence incident that had taken place less than a week before. Read more about that below. Hannah went for a swim in the creek and never came back. Hours passed, and Jeremy called the police, who came and found her lifeless body floating naked in the creek. DNA was found under both sets of fingernails from an unidentified person. A sexual assault kit found semen in the vaginal canal. No suspects were asked to provide DNA. Wow. Why aren't they testing that out? I mean, I know, maybe she's got a boyfriend or something, but I mean, you could eliminate this stuff. 3 days after Hannah's death, Hannah's mother still didn't know where she was or what had happened. On Saturday, 3 days after Hannah's death, her mom contacted Klickitat County requesting a welfare check on Hannah. So she was living in Klickitat, but she's from Multnomah County. If you're doing a welfare check, that means she's in Klickitat County. 1 hour later, police showed up at her mother's door to deliver the tragic news. Right here it says her swimsuit was found on the shore next to boot prints. She didn't have any boots, so all records show that Hannah was barefoot and no shoes were recovered. Yeah, so this is kind of, now it's sort of more interesting. Like this case is interesting. Her swimsuit was found on the shore next to, they should not say it. Her swimsuit was found on the shore next to boot prints. So it's almost like somebody carried her over there and sort of had her, swimsuit and whatnot he was carrying all at the same time, and then dumped her into the water, and then just sort of let the swimsuit fall on the ground too, something like that. All records show that Hannah was barefoot and no shoes were recovered. Yeah, so then, let's see, where are we at? The next one would be Hannah's autopsy didn't take place until 9 days after her death. Lab results determined that there was alcohol in her system, but I thought that it takes 9 months, though. I mean, 5 to 6 months, I guess. What did they say? Like 7 to... I don't remember. It was a long time. Hannah's autopsy didn't take place until 9 days after her death. Lab results determined that there was alcohol in her system, but experts agree that the levels are likely inaccurate because tests weren't run immediately. Let's see, run immediately. I'm not sure why he's in there. He probably said, bodies produce alcohol during normal decomposition after death. Then right here it says the only drugs found in Hannah's system were medications she was prescribed, and the levels matched her prescribed dosage. There are inconsistencies in the evidence logs. The Klickitat County Sheriff's Office moved the case from active to inactive. They have made little effort to continue communications with Hannah's family. The family felt forced to hire a lawyer and were then able to acquire the public records associated with Hannah's death. We have used those records to outline the timeline of Hannah's death and subsequent days here. That's right over here. Post-mortem blood alcohol concentration levels cannot be used to determine the level of intoxication at the time of death. High BAC levels may develop during putrefaction, and levels up to 0.2, which is if you drank just a ton of alcohol, do not necessarily indicate that alcohol was imbibed before death. In addition, BAC levels may be influenced by the body's own metabolism and other environmental factors. As such, the result of a post-mortem BAC test, blood alcohol content test, should not be used as a definitive indicator of whether or not alcohol was a factor in Hannah's death. Let's see. We already read that one. The family felt forced to hire a lawyer and were then able to acquire the public records associated with Hannah's death. We have used those records to outline the timeline of Hannah's death and subsequent days here. Officials' questioning of Jeremy was very limited. Jeremy's car was never searched. They didn't request to search his cabin, collect any physical evidence from him, or perform any sort of physical examination of him. Jeremy did not contact Hannah's family after her death. None of her physical possessions were ever collected or recovered from Jeremy's cabin. Wish I knew what his name was. Let me try something. It's gonna work. Whoa! Oh man, how was that guy? Oh man, I've actually found, that sucks, a 67-year-old, but it was a different, I was just trying to... I just threw out any name with a C and then hope that it would... what are some, like, normal names? Let's try this. Like, starts with a C. I mean, I know it's just totally random. Oh, wow. Oh, that's not one. Yeah, maybe Casey. Let me try that. Maybe somebody has the name of the person. I'm reading some of what you're typing in. Oh, is it G? Oh, you're right. So G is probably less common. What's the what? Forget the C's, everybody. Yeah, stop the C, 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 stop the C. So what are the G's? Oh yeah, my name. Wouldn't that be crazy? What's the next one? Oh, it's Gaylord? Okay. Where are you getting that from? Is it in an article out there? I mean, it could be later on in some of these. I just haven't seen it. Yeah, well, that's him. So he's right there in Trout Lake. Hold on a second. And this might lead to helping us figure out where the... Well, it's interesting because he does have a property in Portland, and I think that's his cabin where they visit. Okay, now I sort of get it now. Okay. So this is where they all live together here, which is absolutely freaking crazy now that you look at where... what the, holy shit, this is where... Kristen Smith. Look at that. Look how crazy... Oh, you can't see. Hold on. Jeez. Look how crazy this is right here. Look where Kristen Smith is. Remember when I drove up there? And look where this house is where they live. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Maybe they're looking at the wrong guy. Hold on. So this is where Hannah lives. Yeah, where does it mention Gaylord, Zozo? Is it in one of the articles? I still have more to go. I haven't. There's a really long one on Reddit that probably has the name. I haven't got there yet. But look at this. So let me measure the distance here. It's like 0.58 miles, you know. That's insane. Alright, so now let's get the other address here. The one in Trout Lake. So here we go. And this is where Jeremy G lives. Right there. Yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation, don't you think? The whole thing. So she's living with a married couple, but did the whole couple go, or was it just him and her that went there, right? I mean, like, did the couple go and then she went too? Or was it just him and her, and then all of a sudden, you know, this is probably the cabin they're talking about. Well, I know, I already emailed her, Danielle. That's what I said earlier.
I'll be back if you want me to.
We need to find out whose DNA.
It sounds like she was fighting, you know, scratching somebody. Maybe they should have this guy maybe, well, it's too late now. Shit. Is there a street view out here? No. And this is the closest we got right here to going anywhere. Let's just see what it looks like. Creepy. Thank you, Danielle. We need to find out whose DNA that was under Walker's nails. We got to find her killer. Right. Well, I mean, that's why I emailed the mother earlier to say, hey, we can... That would be amazing to be able to fund something like that to find the killer. Yeah, but where are you getting it, Zozo, is what I'm asking you. Is it in the Reddit post, or where is it? Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the boyfriend would do something to her like that. Doesn't make any sense. And no answer again. Yeah, let's see. He did report her missing, which is, well, is it really? He never called the family about it. And usually when somebody reports somebody missing, not usually, but oftentimes the killer is the one that reports them missing. Like just the man and not his wife too. Sounds like the man and not his wife too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's weird, right? Okay, so I guess there's more down here. Why weren't there any warrants issued to collect DNA? What is the cause of death? Why did it take so long to have the body autopsy? Why did Klickitat stop investigating Hannah's case? Why did Jeremy refuse to take a polygraph? The phone number for Hannah that Jeremy gave police was not the same her family had. Why was Jeremy asked to take a polygraph test? What happened to the evidence collected at the scene? Why was Jeremy wearing Hannah's hoodie that night? I don't know. How do we know that he was wearing it? How do we know that? Oh yeah, well I guess that part's sort of interesting. That's right. 'Cause remember there was yeah, but I'm not sure why Zozo's not answering my question. I'm asking where you're getting. Is there a page that has all this stuff on it? But remember we were talking about earlier how there was a domestic issue that she was happy to get away from. Maybe it talks about it later. Oh wait, it's down here in the article. Okay, let's just keep going. We got a hell of a lot more to go. I didn't realize there was way more down here. So that's probably where it's at. I just haven't got to it yet. Right, so it says, the week before Hannah's death, less than a week before Hannah's untimely death, Ricky, Hannah's ex, was incarcerated for domestic violence following a heated argument between the two. So we never got to get to this part, but here we are now. So this is the... I mean, it would be interesting if he was sort of stalking and saw her go over there with him, and when, you know, I don't know how he would have gotten her alone away from Jeremy, though. Following a heated argument between the two, Richard was booked into Multnomah County Jail in Portland, but because Hannah did not follow up with District Attorney's Office, Ricky was released from jail without being charged on Monday, October 10th, 2022. What do you mean keep going? Yeah, I'm reading it, yeah. Detective Neer details in his report that he looked into the domestic violence dispute between Hannah and Ricky and noted, I found in some of the other reports that Hannah and Richard had other domestic violence disturbances between each other. In his report, he says he called Ricky to verify his whereabouts the night of Hannah's death. Ricky said he was released from jail Monday and that he worked his usual shift on Wednesday night. The week leading up to Hannah's death was undoubtedly fraught with emotional strain. Ricky's release from jail marked a turning point that coincided with Hannah's decision to leave town. Seeking solace away from the tumultuous circumstances, she found herself in the company of another man, Jeremy G. Yeah, but this guy is 67 years old, near Trout Lake. Let's see. So this says, I found in some of the other reports that Hannah and Richard had other domestic disturbances between each other. Thank you, Diana Susie. On November 8th, 2022, I contacted Richard by telephone. Richard stated he was not aware that Hannah had passed away. Okay, so Richard. He had not aware that Hannah had passed away and stated he could not figure out why she was not returning his phone calls or text messages. Or you sat there and texted and phone called her 1,000,000 times so that in the eventual, when they find her body, you'll just be, oh wow, I was calling her and texting her. To make it look like you didn't know. Hence you bringing it up too, you know. I mean, that's a possibility, right? Richard and I discussed his arrest on October 7th, 2022. Richard advised, so he was arrested just 6 days before she died. Richard advised the arrest was on Friday, and he was held, let's see. Contacted Richard by telephone. Richard stated he was not aware that Hannah had passed away and stated he could not figure out why she was not returning his phone calls or text messages. Richard and I discussed his arrest on October 7, 2022. Richard advised the arrest was on Friday, and he was held in the Multnomah County Jail until Monday, October 10th, just 3 days before she was dead. Richard stated he was released without being charged. Richard stated he went home, and on Wednesday, October 12th, he went to work at, the 12th is, so it's just 2 days before is when he was held in Multnomah County Jail. Yeah, no, and then he was released on Monday, October 10th. Richard stated he was released without being charged. Richard stated he went home. Wow. Jeez. He stated he went home on October 12, 2022. He went to work at Nico's Cantina in Portland. Richard stated he worked from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. that day. Richard stated his normal work week at Nico's was Wednesday through Sunday from 3 p.m. to 10. Well, I mean, if he's at work and has an alibi, then he didn't do it, right? Here it is. Ricky's alibi was confirmed by Detective Neer on March 9th, 5 days later. So there you go. I mean, because that's a pretty good alibi. It's not like Brian Koberger who says, oh, yeah, I was just, I drive around a lot. That's why you keep seeing my Elantra everywhere. I just like to drive. I didn't have anything to do with anything, but that's me. See, you can see me on camera, everybody. That's me. Look. We assume the typo at the end of the first sentence should read where Hannah Walker was found deceased, not Sarah Walker. Sarah is Hannah's mother, and she is very much alive. She has spoken with Detective Neer at multiple occasions. He details some of their correspondence in reports. Let's see. On March 9th, 2023, at around 16:23, I spoke with Nicholas, who owns Nico's in Portland, Oregon, where Richard worked during the time of the incident where Sarah Walker was found deceased. I asked the owner if he had worked on October 12th, and he advised, according to his records, had worked October 12th, 2022 from 3 o'clock until 10:30. I thanked him for his assistance and cleared the phone call. See narrative by Deputy Morin for more information. Hold on a second. Let's see. Sarah Hannah's mother, and she's very much... Okay, so let's see. I certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that the foregoing is true and correct. So small. Thanks, Alley Cat. Hey, we're at 67%. Hour in. That's not too bad. Hit that like button, everybody. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Alright, so here we go. We're going to keep going. I want to get all the... I'm going to see if I can get the information, the investigative information that she has. The day before Hannah died, on October 11th, 2022, Hannah texts her mom, telling her that she is really shaken up about everything that happened with Ricky. She tells her mom that tomorrow she plans to head to the cabin, aka Jeremy's vacation home in Lake Trout, Washington. She talks about the plans she has for when she gets back to Portland, and they briefly discuss Thanksgiving. Hannah usually shared her location with her mom in case of emergencies, but she turned it off the day before her death. Jeez. Yeah, because she didn't want to be found by Ricky. Now, 123... Let's see, does she still have any of her belongings or property in your car? My car, no, but my vacation home. Yes, okay, we might need to collect the ID or something like that later. Alright. The day of Hannah's death, she was talking with her mom, letting her know she was heading to the creek. So let's see. This is a pretty good write-up they have on this website here. Thanks, Trisha. So the day of Hannah's death, she was talking with her mom, letting her know she was heading to the creek. You know, to go, well, I guess so, to the creek that's near the cabin, I guess. Hannah leaves some of her things at the cabin, and then her and Jeremy head to the creek. Now, does that mean walking? None of her physical possessions were ever collected or recovered from Jeremy's cabin. See, they're going together. How does he lose track of her? See, that's the part that doesn't make any sense. It almost feels like it's like, hey, you know, he's brings her out there. He thinks he's sort of owed something for being the knight in shining armor, and you know, who knows this? I mean, I have no, you know, I'm just speculating based on what we're reading here. But what doesn't make sense to me is how come she doesn't find what's going on over here? I mean, he doesn't know where she is. I mean, oh wow, where is she? Oh, we found her in the creek, but how come you don't know where she was? You guys were supposedly together, right? I mean, it's your property. Did she just wander away from you? And it's just weird to me. So the day Hannah's death, she was talking with her mom, letting her know she was heading to the creek. Hannah leaves some of her things at the cabin, and then her and Jeremy head to the creek. None of her physical possessions were ever collected or recovered from Jeremy's cabin. The time Hannah and Jeremy get to the creek isn't quite clear. All there is to go on is what Jeremy told the deputy the night she died. In the body camera footage, oh wow, I'd like to see that. Deputy Warren asked Jeremy what time he was last saw Hannah. He replies, "It's difficult for me to recall exactly, but I remember looking at my at the time because I wanted to make sure that I didn't to stay in the sun too long. I remember I come here, I check the time, but I think I was here for a little while before I checked the time, and now I can't remember. I think that maybe she..." How do you not remember stuff like that? That's so simple to remember. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a couple days later, you would go, "Oh yeah, it was right around..." You would sort of just remember when you left the house. In general. Not me, Gray. Sometimes I just take off. I don't even know. Hey, thanks Pamela Dasgupta for the 5 memberships. Hopefully to non-trolls. Make sure to check those accounts out, everybody. And bounce the ones that are just created. Huh? What girls? In a Delphi case, I hope Lyric and Elizabeth case is brought. Yeah, well, the father was on my show like a month, maybe a month ago. And if you go read the community sections, I think we'll have to have him come back on at some point. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with this case. You know what I mean? So Jeremy and Hannah parked the car. Let me go through. I might actually have to write up something on this to get a clear, like, timeline-ish thing here. But now I'm wanting to get a hold of the mother here or order this stuff ourselves. I mean, this is the state of Washington. Everybody got the body camera footage in the Idaho 4 case, so why can't we get this? Any of you guys good at that stuff? Yeah, let's get the investigative reports and the body camera. Well, he was. It's far away. It's like hour. You know, there's no way he could go do this. I don't think the boyfriend did it. Yeah, it's like way up here, and I mean, I'll just tell you, it's an hour and a half each way. So I mean, it'd be 3 hours you'd have to be missing from work. I think he's cleared, unless there's something, you know, like the boss doesn't really know, but he checked in and out. But there was a time where he didn't notice that he was missing, but just claims he was there the whole day. Then that would be where it could happen. Hey, thanks, Bama Forever. Yes, let's hit the goal, please and thank you, she said. All right, so help out Bama Forever and Caligal 3 tonight, you guys, who are basically 60-some% of.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, just call the police. I mean, I have done it before on other cases. It seems like they're always different wherever you go. But yeah, why not just do that? Yeah. Or maybe if I can get a hold of the mother, she can just give me it. So let's get through this document or page. It's got a lot of stuff on it. Thank you, Bama Forever. Okay, so the time that Hannah and Jeremy get to the creek isn't quite clear. All there's to go on is what Jeremy told the deputy the night she died. In the body camera footage, Deputy Warren asked Jeremy what time he saw Hannah, and he replies, "It's difficult for me to recall exactly, but I remember looking at my at the time because I wanted to make sure that I didn't stay in the sun too long. I remember I come here, I check the time, but I think I was here for a little while before I checked the time, and now I can't remember. I think that maybe she had just left, but it was somewhere around at the time. God, this guy's just mumbling all over the place. I recall it was 3:38, so somewhere between 3:38 and 4. I guess somewhere right around 3:30 or 4. The deputy asked him, what time did they come out here? Jeremy replies, I think we left, 3:30 or 4, huh? Yeah, like I started working at 3 until, so that he wouldn't have been able to get to work after killing her, until like 5 o'clock, 5:30, so there's no way. I think that this guy's a good alibi here. But you know what? Calling the police station, though, they tell you how you can do it. So even though it's different, I guess that's a good place to start. The deputy asked him what time did they come out here. Jeremy replies, I think we left Trout Lake about, must have been like 2:40. Jeremy and Hannah parked the car and walked to the creek. They laid out a sheet on the shore to sit, and then, according to Jeremy, Hannah decided, yeah, see, something just isn't really adding up here. Like, do you do that with some guy, 67-year-old guy that's married? You go out there and you decide to go swimming, and apparently you go swimming nude right there. They laid out a sheet on the shore to sit on, and then according to Jeremy, Hannah decided to go for a swim and then never came back. What time did she exactly go in the water isn't 100% clear. Jeremy said two conflicting statements. One, that they sat there for a while, and two, that Hannah went in immediately after they got there. Hannah's swimsuit was found on the shore, not far from the sheet. Okay. In the first coroner's report, it says that, so that's different than what we read earlier. It says that Hannah went around the bend for privacy. She removed her swimsuit and went skinny dipping. People close to Hannah find this, I'm wondering too, so those abrasions and other things could have came from the domestic violence incident a week earlier, though, right? Thank you, Mountain Jam 71. Hannah's swimsuit was found on the shore not far from the sheet. In the first coroner's report, 22 months, man. It's a long time. Thank you for the long time support there, Mountain Jam 71, and all the rest of you freaks out there that have been supporting my channel for, I think there's like 40-something months. I think Zozo and Emily Flotilla and the like, they're up into the 40 months out there. Hell, I think most of the moderators, Jan H is probably 40-something months, and Paulette Leonard. Who knows? Maybe the old guy was peeping at Hannah and forgot the time. No. Timothy Cecil, 38. Man. It's a hell of a long time. Thank you, man. Now, Jeremy is is a husband of another lady who Hannah is staying with in Portland, but he has a cabin. So apparently just Jeremy, the 67-year-old, and Hannah, the, 28-year-old, they went to this cabin in Trout Lake, Washington, and they go sitting out. Oh, is it 31? Okay. That's right, 31, that's right. And they go sit on a blanket. And she takes all of her clothes off and goes into the water. I don't know, something just doesn't feel right about that. Although Portland is really kind of, little bit of the.
Hey, Allah, hey, Allah,
yeah. Thanks, Tammy Morell. It's difficult for me to recall exactly. I just want to get read this and try to make so just a weird story to me. So Jeremy and Hannah parked the car and walked to the creek. They walked to the creek. They laid out a sheet on the shore to sit on, and then, according to Jeremy, Hannah decided to go for a swim and never came back. What time did she exactly go in the water isn't 100% clear. Jeremy said two conflicting statements. One, that they sat there for a while, and two, that Hannah went in immediately after they got there. Hannah's swimsuit was found on the shore not far from the sheet in the first coroner's report, so that would mean that she undressed right in front of Jeremy. So that says in the first coroner's report, it says that Hannah went around the bend. So let me read that again. Hannah's swimsuit was found on the shore not far from the sheet. Boom. In the first coroner's report, it says that Hannah went around the bend for privacy. She removed her swimsuit and went skinny dipping. People close to Hannah find this piece of information troubling for multiple reasons. One, because Hannah wasn't a bashful person. If she wanted to go skinny dipping, she wouldn't feel she need to hide it from anyone. Well, maybe a 67-year-old. Two, how did the coroner know that Hannah went around the bend? Jeremy was the only one there. He must have told them that Hannah did that, but he doesn't give that information to the deputy at the scene or the 911 operator. Man. So do we need to get the 911 call, the body camera footage, all this stuff? What do you guys think? Hey, Lanky Tor, thanks for upgrading there. And Kelly Snyder. How long have you been here? You've been here a long time too, right? Yeah. So then it says, Hannah was a victim of domestic abuse and decided to get away to the Trout Lake area. She was going to go swimming at Trout Creek. She and a longtime friend, Jeremy, arrived at the creek around 3:30 or 4 p.m. Hannah got into the water, then went around a bend for some privacy, removed her swimming suit, and was skinny dipping. After some time, why does she, if she's in the water skinny dipping, how come she has DNA from an unknown male underneath her fingernails? After some time, she hadn't come back to Jeremy. Man, this is just too hard to believe. You're some guy, you're 67 years old, you're sitting there, and somebody goes around the bend to go skinny dipping, and then later you go up to, where is she? But you never find her. But it's really easy to find her. I guess he did find her, though, right? And he's the one that called. So after some time, she hadn't come back to Jeremy. He went looking for her. He was unable to find her. Oh, yeah, he didn't. See, that's what I thought when I read it earlier. How come he couldn't find her? It would be so easy, right? Like, she's just around the corner, and the Deputy Tony Warren responded to the scene. It was dark, but he managed to locate Hannah. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at... Wait, first of all, we haven't really thought about this, but this is October. It's cold as hell out here in October. You know, like October 13th... Oh, hold on. Let's look at something. You're not going to go skinny dipping? Hold on. October 13th, 2023. Temperature in Trout Creek, Washington. Come on, give me something. Trout Creek, Oregon. Trout Lake, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm doing 2022. Yeah, I know it's 2022, you guys. It's not even October yet. Don't you think that's kind of obvious? Anyway, so it was the 12th. So yeah, I mean, I guess that was, God, that's crazy. Man, 86 degrees. So that makes sense then. It was 53 the low, but 86, yeah, you definitely, that's crazy for, yeah, because look how it gets immediately 62, 51, 650, 52, 48, and right at the end of October. So, wow, 93, 92, 86 degrees still. Okay, so that clears that up. Let me throw that into the folder, though, just so I have it as a factual piece of information there. Hannah got into the water, then went around a bend for some privacy, removed her swimming suit, and was skinny dipping. After some time, she hadn't come back from skinny dipping. So Jeremy went looking for her. He was unable to find her, so he called 911. Deputy Tony Warren responded to the scene. It was dark, but he managed to locate Hannah on the other side of the creek. So when the deputy got there, it must have been, hold on a second. What time was sunset on October 12th, 20... Oh, I must have typed... You guys I probably typed in 2023 earlier. That's what you were talking about. So it was 6:30 p.m., right? So what that means is the... nobody got out there for a while. It was dark already. So that means it's probably 7 o'clock, 7:30 when the officer got there. Or later, we don't know. Ah, God, I just lost the... Hold on a second. Oops. Almost at the goal, everybody. Almost there. I lost the chat. I gotta load it back up again. And there we go. Oh, there's Blue waiting for some food. Yeah. Yeah, who cares? It doesn't really matter what the temperature of the water is. It's more like, hey, it's 86 degrees. It makes it more possible that somebody did go skinny dipping. Man, everything's just... Oh, I hate Windows 11, how it tries to guess what you want to do. Okay. He was unable to find her, so he called 911. Deputy Tony Warren responded to the scene. It was dark, but he managed to locate Hannah on the other side of the creek. She was face down in the water. Search and rescue were called, and they came out to retrieve her. So this is like a really fast-moving, swift-water creek where you need to get search and rescue to come. I pronounced the death at 22:32, which is... Oh, so that's really late. He was there at 10:32 at night on Wednesday, October 12, 2022. Hannah will be taken to the Clark County Medical Examiner's office in Vancouver, Washington for autopsy. This is yet to be scheduled. I will let you know when she has been transported. Your next step should be to contact funeral home of your choice. Let them know Hannah is at the medical examiner's office in Vancouver, and they can schedule a time to pick up Hannah when she's been released. It just sounds so cold, doesn't it? Just like... In the 911 call, Jeremy says, I came back to the car. I waited around for a while. I left the towel and the sheet we were sitting on and her cell phone on there because I thought if she did actually show up, that she would be able to call somebody. But I'm back at the car now. She's not there. Let me see. The 911 call, Jeremy says, I came back to the car, so he's at the car right now. I waited around for a while. Before I left, though, I had left the towel and the sheet we were sitting on and her cell phone at the place where we were sitting because I wanted to, if she came back to show up, that she would be able to call somebody. But I'm at the car right now, and she's not there either. Or maybe he was at the car, then he went and... I don't know. You know what's weird about that? It's almost like he knows he's... in some way it's strange because he's messing up a little bit. That, he's sort of saying that he went back to place those items there. Because look at it, says, in the 911 call, Jeremy says, I came back to the car. I waited around for a while. Okay. But then he left the towel and the sheet where they were sitting. That means he went and sort of put it back over there. Okay? That means he went back and put it back over there because at the very end he says, but I'm back at the car now. So that means here where he says, I came back to the car, meaning after she went missing, he came back to the car. I waited around for a while. So that means he left the car after a while, right? And then he says, I left the towel and the sheet we were sitting on and her cell phone there. So does that mean he went back and placed it there? And then he comes back to the car later and she's not there still. Does that make any sense? Yeah. She's not there. Hannah was, by all accounts, a strong swimmer and athlete. She loved swimming and did so regularly. In the 911 call, Jeremy says, she's a really strong swimmer. So I wasn't really worried about her for at least an hour or so, and then she just never showed up. She's weird. It's almost like he's starting to say other things at times. She's a really strong swimmer, so I expected that she should have been able to keep swimming, or something. I was really worried about her for at least an hour or so, and then she just never showed up. I started to go, God damn it. She just left me. She just left me here. She just left me and stranded me here. And she never came back, and now I'm really freaking worried now. After waiting for hours, Jeremy calls the police at 6:48 p.m. to report Hannah missing. The operator asked Jeremy to describe his address after it is determined that he is a Trout Creek Road. She asks what the problem is. Jeremy says, I came here with a friend of mine, and she's a great swimmer. What a weird thing to say first. We went down to the, she wanted to go swimming. I don't know. It almost feels weird, like she was drowned intentionally in that water. I mean, it's just a theory, right? So it doesn't mean anything. Okay, but like she's drowned intentionally in the water. What do you guys think? Hey, good night, Bama forever. It was good seeing you out there streaming. And thank you very much for your generosity. And by the way, in honor of Bama Forever leaving. If we could just reach the goal here, everybody. We are $11.50 short for the night. Wouldn't that be amazing? So simple. It's like tipping the Starbucks coffee maker. Or do I have to throw myself in prison? Drown intentionally in the water by Jeremy. That's what you're saying, Timothy. Yeah. The operator asked Jeremy to describe his address. After it is determined that he is at Trout Creek Road, she asks what... let's see where that is. Trout Creek Road. Thanks, Lanky Tour! Trout Creek Road. And thank you very much, Aaron. Wow. I think the head of the dog that's licking you in your picture is like... hold on a second. Hold on, let me make that bigger. I think that is like 3 of Chloe is the size of the head of that. Looks like a pit bull. Man, that's a big one. Thank you. I think Chloe would just fit right in the mouth of your dog there. Yeah, so this is sort of interesting the way this reads here, don't you guys think? Hannah was, by all accounts, a strong swimmer and athlete. She loved swimming and did so regularly. In the 911 call, Jeremy says, she's a really strong swimmer. Almost like he's saying, I don't know, overselling, like, how could she possibly drown everybody? Thank you, Tamara Court. But it could just be that this is all exactly what happened. She goes around the bend and something happened, and I was a really good swimmer myself. Now people on internet, Gray's great at everything. Well, I really was a really good swimmer when I was a kid. I competed in butterfly, and that was my main stroke. I started off doing breaststroke. That's what everybody starts off at usually, and never did freestyle. I just did butterfly, but I could almost beat, like in butterfly, in 50 fly, I think I did 27 seconds when I was like 13 years old, which is, it's pretty damn good, right? I wish I could have, 50 fly is awesome, man. I would love to be able to just do that. Man, that would have been so fun. So anyways, after waiting for hours, Jeremy calls the police at 6:40. And what I was going to say about that was, even though I was a good swimmer, there were times where you just hit something the wrong way and just absolutely inhale a massive amount of water, and you feel like you're just going to just not be able to make it. So I don't know what the circumstances were in this creek or anything like that. But it doesn't look like it rained. It hardly rained at all last summer. So that creek was probably really low and slow. So this kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. She has DNA under her fingernails. Well, 67, it's not old, but it's older than 31, right? I mean, it's pretty strange to have a 67-year-old guy that's married hanging out with... Hannah, who's 32, at a cabin. Don't you think that's a little strange? A little bit? Okay. So anyways, after waiting for hours, Jeremy calls the police at 6:48 p.m. So is that the 911 call? The operator asked Jeremy to describe his address. After it is determined that he is at Trout Creek Road. So where is that? Is that... Oh yeah. Trout Creek. I'm not sure what happened to my address that I had here. Oh, there it is. It's way up here. I'm in the wrong place. That's his Portland address. So right here. sure what's going on with that. Trout Creek Road. She asks what the problem is. Jeremy says, I came here with a friend of mine, and she's a great swimmer. Brings it up again. We went down to the... She wanted to go swimming. So went down to operator. Says, sir, what is going on right now that you've called 911? Well, she's lost. She's not come back. Operator said, so we've got a missing person, okay? The operator asks for Hannah's phone number. Jeremy says, I can't find it out. I can find it out if you like me. It's like she doesn't have her phone right now, so it doesn't really matter. But remember later you said you left the phone on the mat there. Want me to look it up? I can look it up for you. And then he gives the operator a number that Hannah's family didn't have. When Deputy Warren arrives, Jeremy is waiting by his running car with the headlights on. It's now dark. Jeremy attempts to lead the deputy to the beach where he left Hannah's belongings, mentioning he left them in case she came back. They took a wrong turn and got lost for a little while, but eventually they find the beach. The officer sends out the coordinates of the beach to search and rescue. Jeremy continues to lead the officer down the path. The deputy spots a swimsuit next to the tall grass. Jeremy said, I mean, today I was just here, like in early today, and I didn't see that. Let's see. The deputy spots a swimsuit next to the tall grass. Jeremy said, I mean, today I was just like in earlier today, and I didn't see that. But of course, I couldn't miss it, but it's hard to see it if it has been... Yeah, this is... Hold on. I mean, today I was just like... I mean, what 67-year-old says like as many times as this guy, by the way? Jeremy said, I mean, today... I know I say it a lot, but... I mean, today I just here like in early today, and I didn't see that, but of course I couldn't miss it, but it's hard to see if it has been here, and it's really dark. It looks sort of like... It sort of looks like it, though. The deputy says, I mean, it's clean, so it hasn't been here for a day and got covered in dust. Let me look around for any footprints or anything. Jeremy says that it is hard for him to tell if it's Hannah's swimsuit because the color looks different. It was in fact Hannah's swimsuit. Boot prints were photographed at the scene next to Hannah's swimsuit. All accounts show that Hannah was barefoot and had no shoes, and no shoes were recovered at the scene. Well, I wonder if he wore boots. The deputy tells Jeremy he is going to go downstream and gives him the option to go with him. Wait there to wait. So where is this river, by the way? Is it this one right here, this thing? I bet that is what that is. This is Trout Lake, and here's this creek here, but we don't have any idea. Trout Creek. Yeah. Is there a Trout Creek Road here, though? Let's see. Trout Creek Road in Trout Lake, Washington. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's Trout. That's Trout Lake Creek Road. I want Trout Creek Road. Yeah, I bet you it's that creek, though. He lives here, and yeah, it's just we don't really... I wish they'd give us specific coordinates. Yeah, so the deputy tells Jeremy he's going to go downstream and gives him the option to go with him, wait there, or leave. Jeremy begins to become very distressed and says, I should have called earlier, but it wouldn't have made a difference. What do you mean? How do you know? He tells the deputy he wants to leave because he is cold. The deputy asks another officer to assist and then heads downstream, where shortly after he discovers her body. Wow. So let's read that again, knowing that they haven't even found her yet. The deputy tells Jeremy he's going to go downstream and gives him the option to go with him, wait there, or leave. Jeremy begins to become very distressed and right, because he might have known that she was right downstream. I should have called earlier, but it wouldn't have made a difference. What the hell does that mean? He tells the deputy he wants to leave because he's cold. I'm cold, I want to go. The deputy asks another officer to assist and then heads downstream, where shortly after he discovers her body. Hannah's lifeless body is found floating naked in shallow water about 2 feet deep near the place she was last seen. Deputy Warren noted the river was approximately 40 feet across and only 4 to 5 feet deep at its deepest area. So she could stand up and be able to breathe. Deputy noted the water was not fast moving. The deputy asked Jeremy a couple of questions before letting him leave, requesting another officer to help him to his car. They don't ask to see inside his car. After Jeremy leaves, the Klickitat County Sheriff and rescue team coordinate the deputy with Deputy Warren to assist in recovering the body from the water. But it's 2 feet deep. You need to have I guess they need to come in and officially put it on a board or whatever, however they do it. After Jeremy leaves, the Klickitat County Search and Rescue Team coordinates with Deputy Warren to assist in recovering the body from the water. Hannah was found with contusions, and those are bruises, abrasions and bruises. Oh, contusions. Like contusions are sort of like, let's see, hold on. A region of injured tissue or skin which blood rupture, a bruise. That's what I thought, yeah. So how can you say bruise twice here then? She did not have a head injury. Hannah's mother, deeply concerned about her daughter's well-being, reached out to the victim advocate assigned to the ongoing domestic violence case in Portland on Friday the 14th. Unfortunately, so that's 2 days after. Unfortunately, the advocate had not heard from Hannah and was unsuccessful in attempts to contact her. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the advocate advised Hannah's mother to contact Klickitat County for further assistance. On Sunday, October 15th, 2022, Hannah's mother, increasingly worried by her daughter's prolonged silence, took the initiative to call Klickitat County Dispatch, requesting a welfare check on Hannah, explaining that she hadn't heard from her daughter in several days and expressing her concerns. She disclosed the details of the recent domestic violence incident Hannah had endured. Though unsure of Hannah's precise location, she mentioned the possibility of her being at her friend Jeremy's cabin in Trout Lake. The dispatch officer assured her they would look into the matter. 1 hour later, local Sergeant George Utah officials arrived. 1 hour later, local St. George, Utah officials arrived at Hannah's mother's door, delivering the devastating news. Why did they come from Utah? Oh, that's right. She lives in Utah. That's right. I saw that. The devastating news that Hannah had passed away 3 days earlier. All right, so here we go. And this is a pretty good website with all this information. But I'd like to see the investigative files myself. Hannah's family was told due to the suspicious nature of Hannah's death, the family was not permitted to identify the body until the autopsy was complete. When Hannah's mother sought the autopsy report, she was informed that the sheriff's office was still awaiting lab results. However, it later came to light that the lab results had already been completed. These crucial reports contain significant details, including the presence of an unknown individual's DNA under both sets of Hannah's fingernails, as well as semen found on the vaginal canal. So here's what you got to think about, you guys. How could that still be in there? Her boyfriend had just had domestic violence a week earlier. They hadn't seen each other. So how is there semen? And and she's on this vacation somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So what they need to do is see whose semen that is. It's actually really important. And they also need to check the DNA under the fingernails. I have a suspicion that they match perfectly. That the skin under the fingernails and the semen inside of her would match perfectly. All right, anyways, I got to go use the restroom, everybody. We'll get back and finish this. I actually I had other stuff to cover, but this article, this write-up and website here is really good, so we're just going to keep going through this, and so I'll be back in a minute. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for waiting. No, Lanky Tor. I'm not gonna do it. Alright. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, I washed my hands for sure. Alright, Hannah's family was told due to the suspicious nature of Hannah's death, the family was not permitted to identify the body until the autopsy was complete. When Hannah's mother sought the autopsy report, she was informed that the sheriff's office was still awaiting the lab results. However, it later came to light that the lab results had already been completed. These crucial reports contain significant details, including the presence of an unknown individual's DNA under both sets of Hannah's fingernails, as well as semen found on the vaginal canal. To add to the family distress, they have yet to receive any of Hannah's belongings. Although items discovered at the crime scene were acknowledged in the authorities' reports, they remain unaccounted for. Other personal belongings not present at the crime scene were identified, and Hannah's mother requested that they be held at the sheriff's office for safekeeping until she could make arrangements to retrieve them. Regrettably, her repeated attempts to access these belongings have gone unanswered, impeding the family's ability to fully understand the circumstances surrounding Hannah's death and raising concerns about the preservation of crucial evidence. Initially, Hannah's family patiently awaited updates from the authorities, hopefully that the cause would be thoroughly investigated. I wonder if they checked out Jeremy's body for scratch marks. I bet they didn't. Initially, Hannah's family patiently awaited updates from the authorities, hopefully that the case would be thoroughly investigated. The sheriffs told them to trust them. They are doing thorough investigation, and it was a high priority. They persistently sought information, even meeting with the sheriff in person, to express their questions and concerns. However, it was only after seeking legal counsel that they finally obtained the entirety of the public records associated with the case. The records contain crucial information that had been previously withheld. For instance, the 911 call. During the 911 call, Jeremy reluctantly gives the operator Hannah's phone number. But it's not the phone number Hannah's mom uses to communicate with her. Hannah's family asked Detective Timothy Neer if he could find out anything about the phone number, like who paid for it, if it was even registered to Hannah, and if the phone found at the scene was connected to the number. The Walker family requested that the phone be forensically analyzed. They never received any information about the phone at the scene. Recently, a report dated January 31st, 2023 surfaced indicating, at the request of Sheriff Songer, a detective had contacted Jeremy G. to request his cooperation in the ongoing investigation into Hannah Walker's death. Jeremy G. responded by stating, "On the advice of counsel, I will not take a polygraph test at this time." Yeah. I mean, that's not, like, to me that doesn't mean shit, you know. Innocent people don't take polygraph tests for a reason. Okay. But, I don't know, I think there's something weird going on here. At the request of Sheriff Songer, I contacted Jeremy G. to ask for his further cooperation in the Klickitat County Sheriff's Office continuing investigation into the death of Hannah Walker. Detective Neer, who had been involved in the investigation, was out of the office at this time due to medical issues in his family. The sheriff requested I contact Mr. That's the boyfriend again, Jeremy, and request that he assist us in our investigation by agreeing to submit to a polygraph examination. This is Jeremy G. On the advice of counsel, I will not take a polygraph test at this time. If there's anything else that I can do to help, please let me know. The autopsy report says that Hannah's lungs were on the heavy side, suggesting that she inhaled water. The autopsy says submersion in water, complicated by ethanol, but that's troubling, because they did not find any evidence of alcohol consumption at the scene. Jeremy did not mention that she had been drinking or had any difficulty with the trail. Well, they could have had drinks at home and then went out there, right? Significant time would have elapsed from the time she was at the cabin until they reached the beach if she was drinking there. Okay, well, there you go. Moreover, the human body produces alcohol post-mortem. Experts agree that blood alcohol content levels tested after death cannot determine the level of intoxication at the time of death. Furthermore, Hannah's autopsy didn't take place until 9 days after she died. Autopsy should be performed within 5 days of death unless the coroner obtains an order from the Superior Court extending the time. No such order had been found for Hannah's case. See, questioning things like that, or you're just talking about incompetence, and so that really, but a lot of times people start turning that into conspiracy stuff. To me, it's just, laziness. Shit like that, Oh, forget it. She died, She just drowned. Don't worry about it. Submersion is defined differently than drowning. Drowning is the process of experiencing respiratory impairment, whereas submersion is the airway is below the surface of the liquid. Right, like you just start breathing, I guess, I don't know. The toxicology report showed that Hannah had prescription drugs in her system, but that the levels were consistent with the dose her doctor prescribed to her. The status of the investigation is now inactive. We need people to email Klickitat County Sheriff's Office and request that they thoroughly investigate this case. We also urge people to submit public records request forms. We have information on how to do that on our support page. There will also you will also find the link to the GoFundMe account set up for Hannah's family. Her family has scraped together everything they have to hire lawyers and PR people to help them seek answers. Any little bit people can donate helps. We will continue to closely monitor the progress of the case and provide updates as new information emerges. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional information. Yeah, so I would definitely pay for testing that DNA in a second. And I think what they need to do is at the same time get a DNA sequence from the fingernail clippings and a DNA sequence from the semen. And I have a strong feeling that they would actually match. So. It's pretty interesting. Let's see if I can get a hold of the mother. Yeah, get some more information on this. I wonder why they're wanting other people to do the FOIA request when they've already got all of the information. They can just share it with people. If I was them, I'd print off every page and just put it on their website there. And the body camera footage. I'd get a YouTube channel, link it to that same page so people can watch it. Yep. Well, 0.2 is a lot of alcohol, but that was earlier. Yeah. That was, it's hard to tell because your body, when you start decomposing, because they waited so long to do the autopsy, that, kind of could have created ethanol. Mm-hmm. So what time is it? Yeah, maybe we'll just make this a shorter show. We kind of died down quite a bit here. Don't really have much more to... That was it. So... Did I have another article? Let's see. Klickitat County Creek family says investigation has been insufficient. Yeah, I think what we just read is kind of like the apex of what you would read about it. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And I appreciate you guys helping reach the goal tonight. I think we got more to do on this one. I'm going to have to get a hold of the, what do you call it? The mother, and then it's funny because I found her in Utah, and I was thinking that was probably her. So that I think that was definitely her. So maybe I'll try to give her a call, see how that goes. See if I can get, I want to get everything. The body camera footage, the 911 call, all of it. It feels suspicious to me. What about you guys? Let's type it in. Let me do a poll. Yeah, you could just tell me after the show, Zozo. I mean, I'm not going to put it on the air, so. That's pretty interesting. Yep, I mean, he looks, you know. Yeah, I mean, when they're not really suspects or anything like that, I'm not going to put pictures of them on the screen. I just think it's really strange that it doesn't sound like the wife was around. It was just him and her. He's 67, she's 32, and they're out at this place, and then she decides to go skinny dipping in front of this older guy that's sick. I don't know. Even if she's not shy, do people do that? Like, well, maybe a little bit in Oregon, I gotta admit.
Hey,
Oregon and Hayama are the same thing. I don't know. Just doesn't feel right. What was the first part of that article? Let's go back. Let's take a look at it one for a second again. Hold on. Just want to refresh that very beginning part where it was talking about Hannah was out of town with Jeremy G. Doesn't say. Was still shaken from a domestic violence incident that had taken place. Hours passed and Jeremy called the police. Yeah. See, this is why it just seems really suspicious to me. I'd like to ask the officer, so if it was daylight, how hard would it have been for you to find her body? It was just around the creek in the water, right? So Jeremy's sitting there, and, you know, she goes into the water at 4 o'clock, let's say. Wouldn't you start looking like at 4:30 even? Like, whoa, you know, 30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes is a long time, okay? So you would start looking around, and wouldn't you have found her already? You know, here's a possibility. That he actually did find her, and she was already deceased, and he was freaked out about what to do about it, because he thinks people would think he did something. I don't know, man. It's just... it seems like he should have easily been able to find her. He was the one sitting there. He saw the direction she went. He would have just walked down the stream, just like the officer did in the pitch black, with a flashlight. Oh, there she is, you know, like, pretty obvious. And the swimsuit thing, he didn't notice the swimsuit, where he was like, wow, yeah, I should have seen that. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, it was right here. I bet you if you asked the officer think something suspicious about it. I guarantee it. That first officer that was at the scene, that he literally probably goes, yeah, something isn't quite right here. Yeah. Could have, Zozo. Could have, you know. Never really know. Maybe he just drove her out there and dumped her in the water. An open relationship. Give me a break, the bear. Jesus. What kind of... God. Maybe aliens were involved, the bear. You just never know. You ever thought of that? Alright, let's see. Thanks, Dobby Smith. Thanks, Yabba Dabba Doo. Georgina Stoliker. Robin Barado. Eugenie gifted 5 memberships. Bama Forever with a cat eye. Cindy Leon. K-Me, Eugenie. Mona L. Allie Cake. Web Weaver 68. Cindy Leon. And then K-Me, Charisma, Cheryl. Wish I was a little bit taller. K-Me, Caligal 3 with a cat eye. Carolina T. Pamela Dasgupta. Danielle, Diane Susie, Alley Cat, Trisha gifted a membership, Pamela gifted 5, then Bama Forever with another cat eye, Mountain Jam 71, Tammy Morell, Kelly Snyder, Lanky Tor, Aaron, Tamara Court. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Wow, we're going to have to definitely do another, like, go over this one deeper, you know. I think I'm going to write down sort of the timeline and sort of the, just in an order. It's not really a great timeline or anything, but try to go over it again and do it differently than how they have it. It's pretty good, though, how they have it in this, on this website. Oh, that's true, discerning light, yeah. She wouldn't have inhaled water. It's true, it's true. Yeah, so hope you guys thought that was interesting. I was going to add some, I did have some other cases that, you know, to fill in time, but it seems like this one took up a lot, and it just kind of died down in the chat here, so I think it's a good time to stop. A 2-hour show on one case this time. Hannah Walker. Hannah Rose Walker. Alright. So thank you guys very much for being here tonight. We will see you tomorrow. Let me check one last place here. Sometimes people send in... Oh yeah, there you go. Look at that. Miss Angels and Play-Doh, not Play-Doh, but Play-Doh on PayPal. Thank you guys very much. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then somebody gave me a trial suggestion. So if anybody has sort of a possibly like a mildly entertaining trial that's happened in the past that we could watch, I could start doing that again during the daytime. For the day freaks, it's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 days since we've done anything on there. I kind of miss it, really. It's, you know, it's kind of cool checking in over there. I got to try to be able to do other things though during it. I've noticed that when I'm not doing that show, I have way more time to make videos and stuff. So I kind of need to be able to play that and then turn down the audio and do some of my other stuff. And then check in every once in a while. And thank you guys for... Man that chopped his parents' head off. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you guys for supporting the channel. It allows us to do all the great things that we do at the end of each month with the revenue from... My preacher, are they having the hearing already? Oh, set to start. Maya let the pretrial. Okay, when's that? When did that happen? Did they already do that? The Maya Malete pretrial? I'd be totally into that one. Is that a hearing? Like something on... Is it on Law and Crime that we can go watch it? Not been able to be around much, but here's my favorite place. Oh, cool. Yeah, I already read that one, Cindy. The one that you just sent me. I read it earlier. Yeah, the exact one. You ever thought of rewinding? Let's see. Not been able to be around much. I think you do that on purpose, don't you? You have to. It was actually a long article that took a while. Pre-trial happened already. Remember the lady said she left the FedEx box? Oh. Oh, we played it, didn't we? Remember the lady said she left in... Oh yeah, that's right. I don't remember, did I play it on the show or was it just something I listened to that you had me listen to? Yeah, but did I play it on here? I think it was, you were just telling me how weird it was, and so I listened to part of it. Why don't we do that? You guys, why don't we play that hearing? I never played it on this channel. They said I could play their older trials and whatnot, so. I played the whole thing? Oh, okay, so it wasn't that long. They said I could do the trial a day later. So when we're doing the trial, if you guys want to, I mean, I don't know if there's a way to get the actual live feed. Sometimes, I've done that 2 times now to have the live feed during the trial, so it's mine. I don't have to worry about it. I do think it's a little weird that I think trials should not be able to be like copyrighted by somebody. You know, because you're just playing the feed that the court's giving you. Now, if you have your own cameras in there, I get it, but even that's a little weird to me because it's a public event. You're not actually producing a piece or anything like that. It's literally just a trial. So I don't know. I look at that kind of differently, but I don't know. I think if that's what you do is you get all the trials, then it's sort of like your intellectual property, I guess. So I just played that clip. Okay. Well, do you guys want to do that one then? Do the hearing? Maybe you can send me, email me the link to the first one. I mean, that day. Was it a one-day event or did it go on for a couple days? Yeah, well, if you can find that for me, 867-5309, that'd be cool. I can't remember. What was it called? The preliminary hearing or something? Or... Anyways, all right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. There's a trigger bunny.
I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while.
There's a trigger bunny.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is
oh, that's right, the spellcaster. Yeah, let's just we'll do something else.
Click rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor
the
gonna give another lecture.
I think we were just reading the document.
Freak connector.
And I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
Fool deflector. Interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his
How come I don't see
with all respect, ya. Just remember I've a temper fucking check, ya. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender.
Who are you talking to, Danielle? I don't see Mickey
without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody?
Well, what's crazy about it? What makes it crazy? Everybody always says they're famous, the one that they want. It's crazy. Oh, man, it's crazy. But, like, people were saying that about the Border Patrol one. And, yeah, it's nuts and everything, but I've never seen less people enthusiastic other than when it was live. When the trial was live, there were people getting 30,000 people watching their live streams. And then when you replayed it, you get 40 people watching. It was insane. So I guess that means that every single human being that had any interest in it at all watched every second of that trial except for the 40 people watching my show. Yeah. So anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Huh?
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Mary Lou.
No problem, Greg.
Wow, so lovable.